2020 wasn't as great as I would have liked for it to be because I was a little bit scared of COVID. And it took a little while for me to understand how I was supposed to move, how I'm supposed to go out. Like I'm going out with a can of Lysol, gloves, uh, a mask, scared to touch anything in the house. So I really kind of didn't take on as many clients. But in 2021, I actually have done pretty well just with making you have to put a little bit more in place for 2021 because of the way the market is. It's low inventory. Now in Atlanta, which that's the area that I service, uh, 350,000 really is nothing. Used to be when you got somebody that was pre-approved for 350,000, you already counted the commission before you found a house for them, and that's just honest. Any real estate agent will tell you that. Now, when you see 350, I probably have about 4 or 5 people right now that are pre-approved for 450. I mean 350. 350 is a starter home in Atlanta, Georgia right now. Let me shout that out to the world because 350 used to be what, a 5 bedroom on a finished basement. You may get a pool, anything about 5, 6 years ago, and everybody was moving to Atlanta. It doesn't work like that anymore.
You are listening to the Real Estate Proverbs Podcast with host Kevin Jefferson. This is the #1 podcast for African American real estate professionals who are doing extraordinary things. It's time to tune in. And now, your host, the People's Lender, Kevin Jefferson.
Welcome to the Real Estate Proverbs Podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Jefferson, and today we have a special guest by Miss Angie Ashanti. How are you doing this morning?
I am great. How are you, Kevin?
Doing well. I love that necklace. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. Angie, tell us a little bit about who you are.
So my name is Angelenna Ashanti, better known as @Angie Real Estate on Instagram. I've been a real estate agent for 20 years. I love real estate. I'm also an investor. I work with a lot of first-time home buyers, relocation. I'm a relocation specialist, and real estate is just my thing. I'm from the Metro Atlanta area. Well, I've been here since I was 15, so I guess that counts. And I know the area very well. I'm able to direct my clients in different areas that they want to live in, especially ones that are relocating from different areas. I've seen Atlanta grow, and I'm here to help you with your real estate needs.
Awesome. Where did you come from?
LaGrange, Georgia.
Oh, okay. All right, LaGrange.
Yep. I'm from the country.
From the country.
Yeah.
LaGrange. Awesome. So what were you doing prior to real estate?
I was working, I went to school to be a phlebotomist. Well, not necessarily a phlebotomist, but a medical lab tech, which led me to a career as a phlebotomist. So I worked at different labs. And just one day I was working, and it was like I had hit a glass ceiling because I didn't have a degree. And I was just like, I am bigger than this. There's something more that I should be doing with my life. And I quit. I just quit the job cold turkey. I talked to my husband. He was fine with it. I've always been a hustler. I've always known how to make money. So I was just out, just feeling around, just figuring out different things that we wanted to do. And then my husband and I had decided that we wanted to buy our dream home. It was our dream home at that point. It's not our dream home anymore, even though I love it. And so I said, okay, so if we're going to spend, I think then we were spending like $300 and something thousand, and that was in the early 2000s, which was a lot to spend. And I was like, I added up the commission in my head. I was like, so why would I give somebody else this commission? Why don't I go to real estate school, get my real estate license, and in that way, I can get our commission when we get ready to buy our house. And that is the way my real estate career started.
Wow. Which year was this?
That was this year is my 20th year. So I think that was in 2001.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome. So you were a phlebotomist and you said you wasn't going to deal with this. So you decided to get your real estate license. How was that? Like, how was that journey in terms of taking the class? and passing it. Did you pass on the first go? Like, tell us a little bit about that.
So I'm the type of person, I do very well when I'm broke. So I didn't have a job. I'm broke. So my only job was to go to real estate school and to pass that class. And all I could see was the money at the end of the journey. So I think I did the 3-day class, 9 to 12 in the morning, and I studied my behind off. Back then they had like the little CDs that you could put in your car. And when I rolled, that's all I listened to was real estate, real estate, real estate. So I did well. I actually passed on the first time. But again, had I been in a situation where I was making money or money was coming in, I may not have done as well. But my eye was on the prize, so I did do pretty well with passing the first go round.
Awesome. That's amazing. So, all right, this is still 2001, and you pass your real estate course and you land with a brokerage. How was your start in real estate?
So my start in real estate was I actually went to real estate school with one of my really good friends, Nikki, back in the day, and we actually did the class together. We finished the real estate course together, and the thing was is that we thought we were smarter than the rest of the brokerages. We didn't want to go with a brokerage that was going to take our money. We just got out of real estate school. We need to maximize on the type of money that we're going to make. So I wanted to go with a brokerage that was going to teach us. So I was like, oh, it's okay to do a 70-20 brokerage. I mean, a 70-30 brokerage or 80-20. She was like, why would we do that when there are brokerages out here that are only going to charge us $250 per transaction or $500 per transaction? And that way we can keep most of our money. And I was like, but we got to teach ourselves. She was like, we're smart enough. We just went to real estate school. We can do it. Now, I'm not recommending this for no one else because it was hard. We really had to get it out the mud. We had to figure out how to market ourselves. There was no Instagram. There was no Facebook, TikTok, any of this. And we pretty much just took the GAR form, because it was still the GAR forms back then, and we just started writing contracts and figured it out as we went along. The realtors, the other realtors, the listing agents would come back and say, hey, you forgot to do this, this, and this. And we would go from there, figure out what we did wrong with this deal, make sure on the next deal we didn't do it incorrectly, and then we went from there. And then we would just keep like an actual contract for us to go back and just mimic and just keep using it. And as we went along and as we kept making the trial and error process, we got better and better and better and better. So that's what we ended up doing. So I went with a brokerage. His name, it was Paul Rice Realty. He would work out of his home in Conyers. Literally, we had to go out there, put all of our documents in his mailbox that was on his front porch, but he only charged us $250 per transaction. So we got to keep most of our money. And that's how I got started. And that's how I found my first brokerage.
Wow.
Crazy, right?
That is crazy.
Yes, risk taker. Always been a risk taker.
Wow. And that's that's a level of confidence and success. So you're with Paul Rice Realty, and you are seemingly you're doing well, because at that point the market is starting to really boom. How long were you with them?
We were with Paul Rice for about maybe 2-3 years, and then it's some kind of way we transitioned over, because back then we both went to the same brokerages, to Buckhead Real Estate Group. And Buckhead Real Estate Group, they had an actual office, but it was the same thing. You just got your paperwork together. You went over. I think what it was it was harder. Like back then, you didn't get paid at the closing table. You had to turn in all your paperwork. They had to review your paperwork and make sure you weren't missing anything. And then you waited for your check to get mailed to you. I know realtors this day, they looking like, what? I would be broke by the time I waited for them to mail me a check. But that's the way it was. And then we went to Buckhead Real Estate Group. They were $250. They were closer than going all the way to Conyers to turn your paperwork in. And some kind of way we ended up over there. Now, the Buckhead Real Estate Group, I got so many awards for being like top real estate agent, selling so many deals, because by the time I got to Buckhead, I had networked with so many different people. Back then, it was good to have networked with a lot of on-site agents. Whereas they can give you deals that are walking through the door. They can still refer the clients that are walking in and that need to sell their house in order to move forward with their next house. So having those types of relationships and just networking with people, in the industry, or just your networks of people that bought houses, by the time I got to Buckhead Real Estate Group, it had exploded. That was like at Buckhead Real Estate Group 2005, and I was pregnant with my youngest child. I made the most money I had ever made in my whole entire life.
Wow.
Yeah.
That market was amazing.
The no doc loan, the stated loan. So just about anybody that came through that needed a house, we were able to sell them a house.
Cool. So you had a level of success 2005 where you never made that much money before. How long did that last? How was 06 and 07?
06 and 07. 06 was good. 07 was starting to turn a little bit, but in my mind, I still felt like I was going to be okay, because when you make a certain level of money and it just seems like it's never ending and it's going to keep coming, you don't, in your mind, you never think that it's going to end. So even when things started slowing down, in my mind, I still didn't think that it was going to ever end. So 2007 kind of slowed down a little bit. 2008, I went from making a lot of money to making zero.
Wow.
It just came to a screeching halt.
Wow.
And I was confused and I didn't know which direction to go to.
So you went from making a lot to nothing. What did you do? Because you're in a spot where like I was in it too. Nobody knew what to do.
So the one thing that I did do that was probably one of the best things I'd ever done and didn't realize was when I was making all the money, me and my husband were constantly buying properties. We were investing in the real estate market, and by the time that happened, we were up to 6 properties. And I had made sure that we had all Section 8 tenants, which was perfect because I didn't have to worry about if I was going to get paid. Those properties paid for themselves. The downturn to that was when the market crashed, those properties were underwater as well. So they were worth nothing. The only thing we were getting was the profit that we were getting off of renting them out. So that was a good thing, but it didn't help me at that point. During that time, a lot of real estate agents, it was like a turning point. It was like, are you going to stay in the industry? Are you going to try to figure out what else we can do in the industry? Or are you going to leave the industry? So for me, what I did was, it was something called BPOs, broker price opinions. That was the name of it. And so we signed up with all of these different companies to do those. We probably were making maybe like $1,000, $1,200 a week doing that. And it was just like when you ride around, you take a picture of the front side mailbox and you pull comps and you give your opinion of what you think the house is worth. And because it was so many foreclosures, that's what a lot of the banks were looking for. So that kind of sufficed for a little while. But in my head, even though I love real estate, I wanted to put myself in a better position so that I would be able to live the life that I had put my family up on, and now I couldn't afford anymore. So I went back to nursing school, which was the medical field of where I was before I started with real estate. So during while I was in nursing school, shout out to my husband because he had to hold everything down while I was in nursing school. He held me and the family down. Good brother. He held me and the family down. I went back to nursing school. I did do some BPOs at the time. And then while I was in nursing school, I kind of shut down a little bit on everything. Finished that up in 2014. By the time I was coming out in 2014, I was able to land a position in the pharmaceutical industry, which gave me the flexibility to get right back into real estate, because that real estate is my passion. But because real estate kind of screwed me, or did I screw myself? Because I put my all into it, and you should always have multiple streams of income, backup plans, and everything else. But I wanted to get back in. So I had my first deal after I graduated from nursing school was my cousin. My cousin was moving to Atlanta, relocating from North Carolina. I sold them a house, and then from there I was back on. It was just like everybody started reaching back out to me. At that point, everybody was on social media, so I went ahead and created an Instagram page at Angie Real Estate again, and put it on Facebook. And then people started reaching back out to me. All my old clients started reaching back out to me and doing referrals. And now I'm back to where I was pre economic downturn as far as my real estate career is concerned.
Wow. So what year was this that you went to nursing school?
I went to nursing. I think I started nursing school in. I graduated December of 2014, so maybe like, was it 09, 010, 09, 10 or something like that. I can't remember exactly when I started, but it was, I mean, it was good and bad. I mean, I met a lot of good people there, but I was an older student in school with kids my daughter age, and I had zero credits. So I had to kind of like go in nursing school negative, meaning that I had to take learning support math because I couldn't remember all the stuff that we needed to learn from when we graduated high school way back in the day. So I started like in a negative, but it worked out. And now I'm good. Everything's going very well.
So are you still practicing nursing?
Do I need to disclose that?
I just want to say, I mean, it's up to you. So, I mean, I know a lot of, I know some
No,
successful people.
seriously. Yeah, seriously, I am. I do both, but I have the flexibility. Luckily, I'm blessed to have the flexibility with my position to still be able to fully service my clients with no interruption. A lot of my clients don't even realize that I have a whole nother career because I'm able to give them. I'm able to be a full-time agent for them.
Right. And yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. And that's the thing. Like when we spoke, that's what kind of intrigued me. Um, because a lot of times you hear about the hustle, the grind, you got to go get it 24/7. But it's okay to have another source of income, even if it's a W-2 position, right? Because
It, it, yes, it definitely is. It's just a lot of things that I'm able to do with having both. And like I said, I'm a little scared to just do real estate on its own because of what's happened to me in the past. I've done that. I did that for years. I think I was. I think I didn't have a. I think I was a real estate agent for maybe 10 years full time. But then when the economic downturn, it's just always scary. I don't even know if that's going to happen again, but I'm just a little scared of that.
and that's cool. Like this whole platform is to allow for people to see all the integral parts, right? Everyone isn't going to be able to be a realtor full time. And then some people are. So, that doesn't mean that you don't have a level of success. Your job as a nurse could be the way you feed your business with leads because you're in the hospital with people who work and you have relationships with doctors, LPNs, administrative people. So it's a great opportunity to have, have a lead source. All you do is go in the office or go into the hospital. And I want people to know that it's okay to work and be a realtor. Some of these people that we see are living a life that if the market changes, just like we talked about, they're not going to be able to sustain it unless they have some other source of income. Because I went from when in that market, my income dropped 50% and I was single. So I had no one to help, right? No one to say, okay, well, my wife is doing this. It was just me.
Right.
So like, I want people to see a true picture because I've posted and I've said this before. You need to have a game plan because something's going to adjust in this market and you need to be ready. I see, and no, that's each to each his own, right? You want to buy the big car, you want to do this and do that, that's great. But just be in position to where if those commission checks don't come in like you expected them to, that you have the ability to sustain. And I do see a lot of realtors, or I work with agents that have other things, rental properties, or like I even have one that has a trucking company. Like those are great things because it's continued bringing in income. But the ones who come in, have a great month and make 20 G's and they spend 15 of it, you gotta pay taxes. You next thing you know it, you got the Benz or whatever you drive, and like it's not hate, it's I've been there and lost everything. When I say everything, lost everything. And I mean, Mom, I need to borrow $20. Like that lost everything. So I've been through it, and I try to use this platform to educate people. So when you and I talk, I was like, yeah, for sure I want her on there because you're a successful nurse and I see you as a successful realtor. You can do both, right? I don't see you posting big pictures about getting out of private jets, but I know that you live a decent lifestyle. And if that's what Angie wants to do for her and her family, that's awesome. And there's more people who want to be like that. I just don't want them to get caught up in you have to quit something that's secure to real estate. And then you grow into that position. You may say, okay, my kids are taken care of. My husband is okay. He's doing well. Now I can transition into real estate like I really want to, but you still have to build it, right? So like people don't understand. It's not, and in our business, it's not like you see on HGTV, candlestick maker and girl who scrapbooks make $1.5 million and they looking to buy a $3 million house. They go see 3 houses, the agents talk on the phone, they meet at Starbucks, and then they sign the deal, and then everything's hunky-dory. That's not a true depiction of what our business is all about. And people need to see that. And
I
they
mean,
need to see dope African American people like yourself doing amazing things. And that's what I want to put forward.
you're exactly right. The reason why I say what I said is that I don't like to disclose to a lot of my clients that I have multiple careers because they feel as if I'm gonna slight them, as far as me being a real estate agent. And then it's funny because after I sell them a house and they realize that they're like, I didn't even know you had another job. Oh my God, you had another job. I just had a client that closed last month, and the first thing she asked me was, do you have a team? And I was like, nope, I don't have a team. And then when we closed, you know what I told her? I said, do you think I need a team? I said, I'm a whole team by myself. I said, I don't need a team. And we were able to get the deal done, closed. It was never a time she reached out to me that I wasn't available. So the thing is, you have realtors, full-time or realtors with multiple careers that are not available or that's not on top of their game. And so people want to make sure that they're going to get the attention that they need to get in the home they want. So that's why they're a little hesitant to use a real estate agent like myself that have multiple careers. However, if you reach out to my clients that I've already sold houses to, they'll tell you that they wouldn't have never even known that I have a second career, but I do. And that's the reason why I have a second career is because of what you just said. And yes, I was the same way. I would make $20,000 a month, and I probably would spend the whole $20,000 a month because I felt like the money was never ending. Lenox Mall was my best friend. Me and my girlfriends were always at lunch. We were traveling. I was, had club seats at the house game. I mean, you name it. We were doing everything before the economic downturn because we thought the money would never end. Now, after that, and now that I'm back in the industry and I have a full-time job and I also do real estate, I'm so my money. I'm so different with my money, and I could probably be doing most of the things that people do on Instagram that they show that they're doing. First of all, I'm very modest and I'm very humble, so I would never show stuff like that online. And then it's always like the people that do the most. I mean, when you really know the backstory, you're like, really? I seen you. I know what you really do. Did you not know that I know you offline? So that's what it usually is. But I'm not discounting anyone that's online and they're getting the type of responses, or they're getting their business, I mean, their clients from offline from what they post. That's just not me. I just try to keep my real estate page to strictly business.
Right. So let's dig into your ability to maintain that position as a nurse and still give that same excellent level of service to your clients. Obviously, you have to have some sort of system in place.
So the system that I have in place is it's just crazy. For some reason, God blessed me with this mentality of being a well-oiled machine, and I
Okay.
can do multiple things at one time. Fortunately, in the nursing industry, I'm a nurse at a pharmaceutical industry. I mean, at a pharmaceutical company, so I
Okay.
work from home. So so my schedule is very flexible. So I'm able to work that flexibility in with my clients in between conference calls, or like when I have my lunch breaks. That's when I make sure that I reach out to my clients. I try to make sure I send my emails out before I start work, during my lunch break and after work. I'm always able to, when you have a full time job, you also have vacation days, you have time off. So if I have to have a client that's coming in town, I might use a couple of my vacation days to make sure that I'm off when they come in town, and then I'm able to ride them around and see everything that they can possibly see. Because when you have a client that is actually relocating, it's almost like you're giving them a tour of the city along with showing them the houses. So you have to make sure you have availability for that. Um, just always been able to multitask, and that's pretty much the secret. Multitasking and being able to work like a well-oiled machine. Those are the only two secrets that I know of that I have. My
Right.
oldest daughter always tells me, "Ma, you need an assistant. Ma, you need help." But I'm so old school. I've not done that, but I do think in the near future that is something that I'm gonna have to do.
Do any of your kids have interest in real estate?
To an extent,
I seen your eyes roll in your head.
I have three daughters. I love them dearly, but sometimes when it's almost like our generation is, we don't want our kids to go through what we went through, but they really need to go through what we went through, and that's kind of how I've raised them. My oldest daughter lives in DC, and she is dabbling in real estate a little bit. She has two Airbnbs that she's managing up there, and she just graduated from college and got pre-approved to purchase her first piece of property. So she's in the process of doing that, and I'm trying to talk her into getting a quad. Because if somebody would have told me that I could have gotten a quad back in the day when I was in my 20s, and then if I'm the age that I am now, that quad probably would have been worth a million, in the millions. So that's what I'm pushing her to do, and that's what she's trying to do. I will be doing that with my other two daughters. They're just not quite there yet. My middle daughter, I did take her. I've taken all my kids with me to closings, to go view properties. So they've kind of been with me my whole career. It used to be a whole family outing when we used to go out to do the BPOs. So they've been around real estate. They know a lot about real estate, and yes, I'm trying to push all of them to at least get their real estate license.
Right. That's crazy. You just brought back memories. Our stories are very similar, right? I didn't go to nursing school, but my wife did. She's
Okay.
a nurse. While she was in nursing school and in between nursing school, I was doing BPOs. I'd take the pictures, I'd pull up the data, I'd send them to her, and she complete the form. I'd review the form, I'd click submit. If there was adjustments that needed be made, I would take a look at them while she was doing the other BPOs. So that was pretty cool. Like,
Sounds like you got a good one.
yeah, I do. I do. Like I actually had talked to her and told her, I said, hey, you ever consider being an agent? Simply because she loves houses. Like
Great.
so I'm gonna tell you a funny story.
Okay.
We moved into our house here in 2016. And I remember her saying, oh, this is my house. I'm being here for 30 years. I'm never gonna move. Probably less than a year, Angie. We've been looking at houses ever since. But what I will say is she's very detail oriented, and she just knows. She knows, she's been with me for 16 years. She was with me when I was taking the real estate class on the test on the phone with me as I go and was taking the final. And she just knows a lot, about houses, what she wants. I think she would be a great agent. But of course that would be something she would have to do. But I just think that she would be amazing. And I think that with nurses, it doesn't surprise me that you have that ability, because at the end of the day, you guys, if you're working on the floor, you have to multitask
Yeah.
amongst multiple clients. So you just transition that into real estate. You're servicing a bunch of clients, just like that night in your shift, you have a bunch of patients that you have to check in the rooms. I know you're in the pharmaceutical space, but you're dealing with clients and you have to make sure you allot time for them. So it's just you transitioning your skills into real estate.
Yeah, yeah. And then the thing with nursing, a lot of, as a matter of fact, there are a lot of nurses that are in real estate because, like you said, those skills are transferable. But it's almost like too with me going from real estate and it crashed on me. Nursing was like, look, I don't ever in my life have to worry about ever needing money or needing or what am I going to do career wise. Nursing is always going to sustain me. So that was why I had to go and just do that, just to have that little piece, that little nugget in my back pocket. So yeah, definitely. That's good. You guys sound like you're a dream team.
Yeah. She Magic Johnson. I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I just catch what she give me and put it in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, you need that as a teammate. Yeah. Me and my
Yeah,
husband are very similar.
yeah, you do. You do. We just had this conversation. Um, she's an organizer, right? She can organize things and she plans well in advance. So we want to, she just organizes. She's amazing at it. But I am the piece. I put the pieces together.
Right.
She organizes it, and then I can just take. I know what goes where. She sets it up, and I finish it.
Right.
So she's amazing. I mean, it's not about my wife, but you just have to have a great team. And in this business, I'm sorry, I don't know your husband's name, but kudos to that brother, because I know how once she became my wife and we were still going through some trying to transition, I know her helping, doing the BPOs, it allowed for me to do more.
Oh, and it was the same thing. By the way, his name is Ahmad.
Ahmad, okay.
Yeah, and he is amazing as well. I mean, that's him because think about it. Me being a mother, and I have a job, a full time job, and a real estate agent on the side. If it wasn't for him, I would be looking like I am like the worst mother ever. He would, you know what I mean? Like, where is the time for my kids? So he's always gonna be there to make sure they get everything they need that maybe I'm not able to be there for. If I have like my youngest daughter cheers, so I might be out showing houses on a Saturday. The whole family will be at the game. He'll make sure she get there early, and I'll show my clients. And then guess what? I slide on in the game, like I've been sitting there all along, and start cheering for my daughter. Like he gonna always make me look good. So I appreciate that, and you need that. So yes, and they know that, I'm the hustler of the family. My husband is just gonna go to work, support what I need to do, and he's gonna hold everything down. But as far as me, I always come home with a new idea, and it's always me on the grind or me with a new client that I have to, make sure that they're good. He'll drive me to show my clients around. In 2005, when I made the most money of my life, and I was pregnant, he would wake me up, put me in the car, drive me to the closing. I would walk in, get my check, get back in the car, go back to sleep. And he would drive me to my brokerage because I was like, just, oh my God, I was so pregnant. I was so big and pregnant in '05, but that was when the market was booming. so much. I couldn't leave that money on the table. So yeah, he's definitely been my rock all along.
That's amazing. That's
Yeah.
amazing. Kudos to you guys. Sound like you're a great couple as well. Um, so for that person who is teeter-tottering with should I get into real estate and keep my job, what would be a couple of things you would have them look at before they made that decision?
First of all, I don't think I think that a lot of people look at real estate as if it's a career that you went to college, you got your degree, and now you can just get out and start your career. It's not like that. You have to have a certain personality to be a real estate agent. Most successful real estate agents, they're hustlers. They know how to negotiate well. They're people, they know how to get out and meet people, and they're hustlers. They know how to make something happen. Really, you are your own resume, bio. When you're out talking to people, you need to be selling yourself. If you're not that person, then you're not ready to quit your job and go out and become a real estate agent. No one is going to give you the book on how to become a real estate agent. I mean, you can read books, you could take classes, but really it's got to be in you. And if it's not there, then it might not be the career for you. I mean, I know plenty of agents because I've been a mentor to plenty of new agents, and they've read books, they've gone out with me, they've done a lot of stuff, but they still don't know how to like secure a deal. So if it's not in you, it may not be for you. That's the only thing I could say about real estate. It just isn't. And like now with the way that the market is, you really got to get out there and want it because deals are not easy. You got to know how to structure the deals. You got to know which clients are going to be. They're really not going to find a house, or versus who you're going to be able to work with and really make deals happen. And you not got to know how to keep up with the market. It's a lot of moving pieces to real estate. And if that's not you, and you're that person that can only do one thing at a time, real estate may not be the career for you. I mean, I'm not trying to like be hard, but you're in the industry, Kevin. Am I lying?
No, you're not. That's why I start smiling because it's not for the faint of heart.
No, 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 it's
Um,
not.
it's emotional. Like we don't physically work hard, but mentally we get drained.
We
And
do.
so for those agents who take time for themselves and their families, that's what you should do because we're like psychologists. The husband and the wife not on one accord, you've got to talk to both. And then certain situations, it may be three people because it may be husband and wife, and then you might be moving an in-law in.
Yes.
So it's so many different parts. And then it's the largest purchase that a person makes, and it's emotional, and they're going off their emotion. And I don't want to pay 10 extra $1,000 for a house, which only really equates to an extra $5 a month on your payment, but they don't see it that way. So just, having that relationship with them. And then on top of that, let's be real, Angie, our own lives. So we have our stuff and then the stuff that gets put on us as agents and, loan officers. It's mentally draining. So you've got to be strong.
Yeah.
You've
It
you
looks
got to be
easy.
strong.
It does. It looks easy. You have to answer the phone when you're on vacation. You gonna get a vacation? You think if your client, so you set your vacation up, like say for instance, if I had a vacation coming up September the 1st, but I had a client that I've been showing houses. Okay, they found a house. Now they want to close on September 6th. That's during my vacation. So what am I supposed to do? Am I not gonna come to the closing, or am I gonna reschedule my vacation? So I might have to make me and my family come back a day early, or I might come back a day early and leave my family on vacation. But while we're on vacation and we're trying to get the deal together, I got to answer my phone every time it rings because they're nervous about closing. And if we don't get a clear to close, we're not closing. So I got to be working on a clear to close while I'm on vacation, trying to make sure my husband's happy, trying to listen to my daughters tell me about their boyfriend or what they want to do. And they might have got to fighting. I mean, nobody wants to admit that, but whenever we go on family vacation, I got 3 daughters, somebody might have got to fight. All of that. And then when my client calls, I got to be professional and I got to sound like everything's good. So yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. It's not for the faint of heart. And the realtors that go on vacation and don't answer their phone, please look up their stats and see how many sales they've had because they're not the successful agent, unfortunately. So yeah, it's a lot that you give up to be a real estate agent.
How is your so we're recording this in 2021. How was your 2021 compared? How has your 2021 been compared to 2020?
So 2020 wasn't as great as I would have liked for it to be because I was a little bit scared of COVID. And it took a little while for me to understand how I was supposed to move, how I'm supposed to go out. Like I'm going out with a can of Lysol, gloves, uh, a mask, scared to touch anything in the house. So I really kind of didn't take on as many clients. But in 2021, I actually have done pretty well just with making you have to put a little bit more in place for 2021 because of the way the market is. It's low inventory now in Atlanta, which that's the area that I service. uh, 350,000 really is nothing. Used to be when you got somebody that was pre-approved for 350,000, you already counted the commission before you found a house for them, and that's just honest. Any real estate agent will tell you that. Now, when you see 350, I probably have about 4 or 5 people right now that are pre-approved for 450. I mean 350. 350 is a starter home in Atlanta, Georgia right now. Let me shout that out to the world because 350 used to be what, a 5 bedroom on a finished basement. You may get a pool, anything about 5, 6 years ago, and everybody was moving to Atlanta. It doesn't work like that anymore. So now I have to make sure the way that I have to move in 2021 is I have to make sure that I've spoken to the loan officer. We're good to go with their pre-approval. They have money, extra money for their closing costs because no one is paying your closing costs in this industry. I mean, in this market right now, it's just not going to happen. And I have to make sure that they realize that what you want, you may have to go way further out in Atlanta to find, or you might have to go above list, well above list, in order to get what you need. So those conversations have to happen. And right now, really, a lot of the clients that I'm working with, they're Airbnb clients. A lot of clients are moving towards wanting to own Airbnb properties. And in the city of Atlanta, the actual condo market is not nowhere near as bad as the single family market. So that's what I've been dealing with. A lot of clients that want to that want to buy in the city, and we're getting condos that don't have a rental restriction that they're able to do long-term leases with. So that's been a very lucrative area for me. I'm from LaGrange. I've done deals there. And I tell everybody, I've gone from being an Atlanta real estate agent to a Georgia real estate agent. So now I'm selling all over Georgia, not just Atlanta. So you kind of just got to move with the market, and you kind of got to just keep going with the different niches that you see that you can sell in this type of market. So 2021 has been great for me.
Awesome. Do you do Alabama since you from LaGrange?
My cousin, I mean, not my cousin, my husband is from Alabama. So I have a ton of family in Alabama. I wish I could, but I'm not licensed there. I need to be licensed there. But I have an agent there that's very good that I refer all my deals to in Alabama.
Gotcha. What part of Alabama is he from?
He's from Bessemer, which is right outside of Birmingham.
Okay.
You know where that is?
No.
Oh, it's a suburb of Birmingham.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. So what is one thing that you intend to implement in your business this year that will help you grow?
Well, I feel as if I've already implemented it, and that's really moving towards working with clients that want to do more investment in Airbnb. Um, Even with flips, I found it a little bit more difficult because um, at one time I was specializing with dealing with a lot of investors that wanted to do flips. But what has happened with the flips is that you're having to bid too high, and the numbers are not there. But the Airbnb and the short-term lease is where the money is. and I'm working with investors that are trying to get that up and running. I actually launched my first Airbnb, I think it was 2 weeks ago. So um, I tried to jump in and learn that part of the business so that I can help my clients. It's not just Airbnb. It's housing for travel nurses. It's housing for corporate leasing. It's housing for the entertainment industry here in Atlanta, where they want to only stay for 2 to 3 months, but they're willing to pay you way more in rent than you would get from a regular tenant. And it's just very lucrative, where you may only make $200 to $300 a month off of a house. Now with somebody that's coming in and they want to do a corporate lease, you can maybe make between $1,200 and $1,500 a month. We have a 1 bedroom basement apartment that we put in the bottom of one of our rental properties. So the top part is rented out and the bottom part is a 1 bedroom apartment. And this is just our first month. And we got a 21-day stay where they paid us $1,721. So the top part already pays for the mortgage. The bottom part is just income. So that's what I'm adding to my model to bring in new clients. And I have a client that purchased a condo on Lenox Road in Buckhead a couple of months ago, and now she's under contract for another one. And she's told me that she wants to buy 5 this year. So that's the market that I'm moving toward, because there's no problem with that market as far as the bidding wars and the investors that are coming in that market. They already have the money. They don't care about paying 20 to 25% down, as long as they are okay, as long as the rental restriction is in place so that they can take over that condo, the numbers make sense, and then they can go ahead and furnish it and start renting it out immediately. So that's the market that I'm moving towards.
Okay. Wow. That sounds like a smart move.
Yeah.
Sounds like it's very lucrative as well. So what I wanted to know is, at any point, and I probably should have asked it earlier, at
Okay.
any point in the transition from great money to no money, did you ever think about giving it up?
No. I always thought about adding to it
Okay.
and realizing that, let me just make sure that I have something else to fall back on. I love selling real estate. I love sales. Um, Real estate is like a legal hustle. Not that I want to do anything illegally, but the types of commissions that you make, um, I love that, and I love helping people. I love seeing people move into their dream home. I love that some of the clients that I sold houses to before the economic downturn, and now they're selling their house, making money off that house, and using that money to buy the next house. I love seeing that. It's like I put you in a situation for you to win. So now you started off with this 150 house, but now that 150 house is worth 290. So you took that money and now you paid down on your 450 house, and you were able to get into that house with no problem. I love seeing that. I love being able to help our African American community to own real estate, to learn how to invest, and to make sure that they're making the best moves with their money real estate wise. So I love it. That is my passion, and that's what I love to do. So no, I never thought about giving it up. I just always thought about adding to it so that I could make sure that me and my family were secure.
Got you. And you mentioned earlier that you guys at one point you had 6 rentals. How many do you have now?
We have 4,
4.
because
Okay.
2 of them we sold because the market was so good. one we what happened was 2 of them stopped paying rent.
Okay.
So one of them, we were able to get them out after 2 months of not paying rent. And so when we had to go in and remodel the house, me and my husband were sitting outside that house one day. We were like, so we're about to do a full remodel to put another tenant in here during COVID. And and now they're under like the moratorium where they can move in, pay 1 rent, and then not pay us. Or should we sell it? And we started looking at the numbers. We were like, oh, we're about to go ahead and sell this. So that's what happened to one of them. And then the second one, They didn't pay us for a whole year from being up under this moratorium. So when we finally got them out, we were like, we need some of our money back. So we went in and did a remodel on that one and sold it. So now the 4 that we have, we're going to just hold on to those 4. But I feel like that was a smart move because as a real estate agent, you don't have a 401k, you don't have a pension plan. But back then, that was what I did. That was one thing that I did think of doing when I was making all that money. Let me start buying up houses because at least that will be my 401k pension plan to contribute to the family. And now we've had those houses 20 years and the equity on all of those houses is through the roof and now they're almost paid for.
Wow.
So that was one smart move that I feel like that I did make back when the money was flowing and I was just spending and not thinking about it.
Gotcha. That's awesome. Angie, this has been a great interview. Just to be able to see the insight that you have on the industry as well as your story. Like I said, when I talked to you, I thought you had an amazing story, and I think it needs to be heard. I appreciate it. I look forward to us, possibly doing some type of business, or I want to ask you some questions about something you mentioned about the Airbnb, because I've got a property that I just mentioned that to one of my partners about. So we'll talk about it. But for anyone who's interested in reaching out to you, how can they find you on social media?
So on Instagram, I'm at Angie Real Estate. And then on Facebook, it's just my full long legal name, Angelenna Ashanti.
Awesome. This has been great. I look forward to doing another one with you down in the future. Thank you for listening to the Real Estate Proverbs podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Jefferson. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching the Real Estate Proverbs podcast with Kevin Jefferson. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel so you can be notified when the latest video drops.